All right, I'm ready when you all are.
Ready, huh?
Okay. All right. Today is February the 25th, 2024. The time is 11:03 a.m. Today is Clayton County Magistrate Court Judge's first appearance. I'm Judge Daniel Nagel. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go over some preliminary information with you to hopefully speed this process along and get everyone's paperwork processed in a timely and efficient manner. So please listen up because I do not want to have to repeat myself, which will result in delays of everyone moving along and getting their case resolved. First and foremost, if you are unfamiliar with first appearance, this is an informative hearing and not an evidentiary hearing. What that means is that today is not the day to tell me why your charges should be dismissed. It's not an opportunity for you to call witnesses or present to me any type of document or any type of proof or cell phone pictures or explain to me why you should not be charged. That's not what today is for. Today is for me to give you information and then move your case along to the next step. Okay. So some of the information that I'm going to be going over with you is what you're being charged with and if those charges are felonies or misdemeanors. I will then let you know what your bond amount is if you are going to be getting a bond. Okay. After that, I will let you know if you have any special conditions of your bond. The most common types of special conditions are to stay away from a specific person. So if you're ordered to stay away from a person, you need to prepend as if they do not exist, because if you have any contact with them, verbal, written, text, Kik, Skype, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, any creative way that you think that you can contact that person, and then they tell on you, guess where you end up? Right where you are right now. And guess what you're not going to get? A bond, because you're going to be in violation of a court order and you're going to be facing more charges. So if you're ordered to stay away from someone, just stay away from them until your case is resolved, or there is an order changing the bond condition from no contact to either you can have full contact or no violent contact. But until that happens, today, moving forward, until one of those things happens, do not have contact with that person. Additionally, the other type of special condition is a stay away from a certain location. That could be a business or it could be a residence. If it is a business, just don't go there. You will not have any business there and no need to go there. If it is a residence and that is where you have some personal belongings, I will allow you to go back and get your personal belongings with the assistance of the sheriff's department. What that means is if I say, okay, you can go and get your stuff, but you need to take the sheriff, you can't just go there and get your stuff without the sheriff's office accompanying you. You will work with them to arrange a date and a time that is agreeable to everyone to go and get your personal belongings. Some of you may not like the fact that you are not allowed to return back to it. It may be your own residence. Okay. Again, don't go back there unless your bond condition is changed or your case is resolved, which allows you to go back there. Okay. I don't want any issues for you to get in trouble or have an issue with someone at that residence. I don't want an issue for them, and I don't want an issue for the residents of Clayton County between you and whoever it is at that residence that do not get along, at least temporarily. All right. Also, I will go over with you your next court date. If you only have misdemeanors, your next court date is going to be on March the 26th. So March 26th will be your preliminary hearing date. However, if you bond out of jail, you do not need to appear for that court date. Okay. So March 26th, if you are still in custody, but if you are out of custody, you will not need to appear for that court date. You will get notice in the mail from the solicitor's office of when your next court date will be. If you are charged with felonies or a mixture of felonies and misdemeanors, your next court date will be on March the 25th, so 1 day sooner. Again, if you bond out of jail, you will not need to appear for that court date. But if you are still in custody, your next court date will be on March the 25th for a preliminary hearing. Excuse me, all of you shouldn't have an opportunity to fill out a form for a court-appointed attorney. And as long as you did that, then I will review it. And if you request a court-appointed attorney and you qualify, I will grant that request. If you did not fill it out, I can only assume that you want to represent yourself or you have a lawyer that you're going to hire. It is strongly recommended that you do not represent yourself, even if you are a lawyer, because you'll be held to the same rules of evidence and rules that lawyers are held to. All right. And then lastly, I will ask if you have any questions, but keep in mind, your questions should be limited to: what are my charges? What is my bond amount? Do I have any special conditions? When is my next court date? And confirming how you want to proceed with a lawyer. Don't ask me about the facts of your case. This is being recorded, and the DA's office and solicitor's office can access this and use whatever you say against you. So don't talk to me about why you have a great defense. Save that between you and your lawyer. Tell them your defense. You don't want to make it known because, again, law enforcement can use this against you. Okay. I already assume a couple of things that people ask me, even though I tell them not to, and they do it anyway. I already assume that someone would want an OR bond, a signature bond, a recognizance bond, whatever it is that you want to call it, or you have heard it called, or that you know it by. I already assume that everyone wants that. So you don't have to ask me for it. If you have one, you have one. If you don't, you won't get it. I already assume that that's what you would want because you are in custody and you probably want to be out of custody because it's not fun being in the Clayton County Jail. So please don't waste my time, your time, and everyone else's time asking me for a lower bond or to let you out, all that stuff. I've already assumed that you've done it. Also, I do not control the bonding out procedure. I can tell you, as a practicing lawyer for over 10 years in the Clayton County area, most bonding companies charge somewhere between 10 and 20%. So I will do easy math because I'm an attorney. If your bond is $1,000, then a bonding company is going to charge 10% would be $100, 20% would be $200. So for every $1,000 of your bond, you can assume $100 to $200. That is not a rule. That is not a law. That is just a general tip to give you a little bit of information on the bonding out process and for you to pass that along to any friends or family members that you need to pass along that information to get you out of custody. If you do not have any charges holding you and you bond out, then you'll be free to go once your paperwork is processed. All right. Some of you also may have some or all of your charges dismissed. If you have some of your charges dismissed, that means that you don't have to pay a bond for those charges. They'll be dismissed. If you have all of your charges dismissed, then once your paperwork is processed, you will be free to go as long as you do not have any other charges pending against you in Clayton County or somewhere else. So if you have a hold somewhere, then you'll be taken to address that hold. But if you don't have a hold, once the paperwork is processed, you will be free to go. Now, it is important to keep in mind that if I am dismissing some or all of the charges against you right now, they could be brought back later. I would be dismissing them because I don't find that there's sufficient evidence right now. But again, I haven't had an officer in a trial and cross-examined witnesses and things of that nature. Right? I don't have any investigative powers. That is what law enforcement and the district attorney and solicitor's office have. I don't have that ability. So if I'm dismissing a case, they could come back later on. I'm not saying that they will. I'm not saying that they won't. That's none of my business. I just have to evaluate the case as it's presented to me. So some of you may be getting some good news today, only for those charges to come back with more evidence later on down the road. Again, I'm not saying they will, but I just need to prepare you and let you know that that is a potential thing that could happen. All right. Because we're on Zoom and sometimes reception, either where I am or where you are may be a little bad at times. I just ask that you listen to what I'm saying. You wait just a second and then you respond so we're not speaking over each other. It's my understanding that we do not have a need for a language interpreter. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Okay, good. So everyone speaks and understands English to the degree that they're comfortable moving forward, which is a good thing. And we'll try to, and we do have a lot of people, so we'll try to work through everyone as quickly as possible. Now, before we begin with the female side, I just need everyone, male and female, to participate by raising your right hand, please. All right, do you swear or affirm the statements that you make shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? You can say, I do.
I do.
All right, very good. With that being said, we'll start with Miss Campbell first. We'll work the female side and then we'll go over to the male side.
Yeah, all right, Campbell, step over here. Campbell. All right, I'm gonna do the order. After Campbell, did Dansby, right there, sit on the bench, when I call your name, sit on the bench, I'll flip the order. Did, next to her, oh, next to her, next to her, Palmer, next.
All right, Miss Campbell, state your name, please.
Tatiana Campbell.
All right, Miss Campbell, give me just a second. We have a case management software that we use, and some of you are on it and some of you are not. And you are one of the people that are on it. So we will go with that. Let's see. Miss Campbell, you were charged with one count of simple assault and one count of battery family violence. Both of those are misdemeanors. I am going to grant a bond in your case. Give me just a second.
Yeah, no need.
Okay, on the simple assault misdemeanor, the bond is going to be 1,000. On the battery family violence, the bond is going to be 2,000. So your total bond is going to be $3,000. Okay. You do have some special conditions of your bond, so please listen carefully. Do not have any contact with Dravion Harris. Okay, I don't know who that is to you, but doesn't really matter. Just until your case is resolved or whatever, don't have any contact with that person. And I know you were listening earlier about what I said about that, so you know, make sure you take that very seriously, or else you're going to end up right back where you are. Also, do not return back to 303 Brookstone Circle. If you need to get personal belongings from there, that's fine. I'm putting in your bond order that you can go back there, just make arrangements to go there with the sheriff's office, okay? Your next court date is going to be on, give me just a second. Your next court date is going to be on March the 26th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for those charges. Let me see here. You have the right to hire your own attorney, or you can be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Court-appointed.
Okay. Let's see. Looks like you did fill out your form. All right, misdemeanor charges. All right, Ms. Campbell, do you have any questions about your case?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Good luck to you, ma'am. Let me give Dansby. Oh, hold on. For Ms. Campbell, she needs to sign. Give me just a second. Review and sign. Select all that apply. Give me just a second. She needs to sign her documents on docs. Ms. Campbell does.
Yes, sir.
Okay, hold on. Give me one moment, Ms. Dansby.
Yes, sir.
Looks like Ms. Campbell is done. Okay, so she's good to sign on her end. All right, Ms. Dansby, you are charged with a couple of things. Let's see here. All right. You were charged with one count of driving while licensed, suspended, failure to wear a seatbelt, and child safety. Oh, some moving violations. I am going to set a bond. I think I actually lowered your bond on these charges. For the driving while suspended license, the bond is $500. Hold on, give me just a second. I'll let you know. Give me just a second. So on driving on the license charge is $500, and then $100 on the seatbelt and $100 on the child safety restraint. You had an automatic bond set at $500 on the seatbelt and the child restraint. So I lowered it $400 each for you. So you just saved $800, and then I set a bond of $500 on the license charge. Okay. Are you so your total bond is going to be $700. Are you going to be able to make that? Okay. All right. So I got to ask. Some people can't. Some people. Yeah. Now give me just a second. Let me finish, and I'll ask you at the end if you have any questions. Okay. Your next court date is going to be on March the 26th, but if you bond out, you don't have to appear for that date. Just make sure that your address is good with the clerk's office or the bonding company. Okay. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. These are traffic offenses, but it's a more serious one, the license charge. If you keep getting it, it can turn into a felony. So hold on. So I mean, most traffic offenses, people represent themselves, but this one, you probably want to get a lawyer. And again, you have the right to a lawyer. So do you want to hire your own attorney, or do you want to be considered for a court-appointed attorney?
I would like to be paid for a court appoint attorney, but I believe my family had already hired somebody.
Oh, okay. Do you know the name of that person?
No, sir. I was on the phone with them when they called us to come to court, so I don't have the information.
Okay, that's fine. Well, listen, I'm gonna put court appointed, but if your family gets you an attorney, they know if they work in Clayton County or do criminal law, they know what paperwork they need to file.
Okay.
And then you can switch that at any time. That's not an issue. As long as they do what they need to do. You know what? I didn't date any of these. Give me just a second, because I have to go back. Okay. All right. So I'll go ahead and grant that. Now, do you have any questions about your case?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Well, good luck to you, and then make sure you get your license situation handled. Okay.
All right, come on, I'm around here.
All right. Let me get Diggs.
Yeah.
All right. What's your name, ma'am?
Tamara.
I'm sorry.
Tamara.
Oh, let me get your full name, please.
Oh, Tamara Diggs.
There you go. Okay. All right, Miss Diggs, you are charged. Let me see. Oh, Miss Dansby needs to sign on Jots as well.
She did, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. Well, I'm signing hers. Trying to get used to this new system. Give me just a second, Miss Diggs. Here we go. All right, Ms. Diggs, you are charged with one count of improper equipment on a bicycle, which is a misdemeanor, giving false information to a law enforcement officer, which is a misdemeanor, and then identity fraud, which is a felony. I'm dismissing the felony count against you. Now, remember what I said, that charge could come back later on. I'm not saying that it will. I'm not saying that it won't. Okay. But as of right now, I don't believe I have enough information as it relates to that. So I'm dismissing it. So that just leaves you with two charges, the bicycle charge and the false information. On the improper equipment, I'm going to set a bond at $500, and the false information, the bond is $500. So your total bond is $1,000 on two misdemeanors. Are you going to be able to make that?
Yes.
Okay. If not, your next court date is going to be on March 26th. But if you do bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Court-appointed.
Okay. Give me just a second. All right. I will grant that request. If you haven't already, they'll get you to use the computer to sign off on your documents, and then you'll be good to go. Okay. Do you have any questions? Give me just a second because I was finding. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. I just needed that verbal response from you. Okay. All right. Good luck to you, Ms. Diggs.
First name, last name.
Should be Holt. All right, what's your name, ma'am?
Crystal Holt.
Okay, Ms. Holt. Give me just a moment. Ms. Holt, you are on the JOT system as well. All right, Ms. Holt, you were charged with one count of simple battery family violence. That is a misdemeanor. I am going to grant a bond in your case of $2,000. You do have special conditions of your bond, so make sure that you listen very carefully, okay? You'll have a chance to ask questions at the end, so just let me get through my part. Do not have any contact with Gabriella Schletter or Schletter. I don't know how to say the name, but whatever. You will get a copy of it and you should know who that is. Also, do not go back to the address of, I'll make sure I type this correctly. Oh, crap. Erroneously. Give me 1 second. 1119 Brookstone Road. Looks like it's in College Park. If you need to get anything from there, you can just make sure you make an appointment with the sheriff's office. Don't go there on your own, saying that the judge said that you can go there. Make sure you make arrangements to go there. Your next court date is going to be on March the 26th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
I don't know that stuff, sir. I don't know none of that. I don't do stuff like that. I just know that's my family. We're real close.
I got you. Well, my question to you is, do you want to hire an attorney or do you want me to consider you for a court-appointed attorney? Because these are charges that you could face jail time on. So you need to have somebody guiding you and counseling you that has a law degree. So what do you want to do about a lawyer?
Sir, I want to do a lawyer because they talked to me all my life and I don't do nothing.
Okay, so you want a court-appointed attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you currently employed, Ms. Holt?
Yes, sir.
About how much approximately do you make a month?
2,000.
Okay. And do you have any children?
No, sir.
Okay. Are you currently married?
No.
Okay. Have you ever served in the military?
Partially, no.
Okay. All right. I will put on here, agreed on Zoom. All right. I will appoint you a court-appointed attorney, ma'am, and they'll get with you as it relates to your charges down the road. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, then, if you haven't already, they'll give you an opportunity to sign electronically some documents, and then you'll be good to go. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Good luck to you.
God bless.
All right. Should be Lammers.
What I said, bro.
All right. What's your name, ma'am?
Emily Lammers.
Lammers. Okay. Give me just a second. Oh, here we go.
All right, man. We get to work.
Ma'am, you were charged with one count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substances Act. It's the one that had, oh, yes. I'm setting the bond at $1,000. Are you gonna be able to make that?
Yes.
Okay, good. This is kind of a weird situation. Obviously, I don't get everything involved in these cases at the very beginning, but yeah, okay. Your next court date is March the 25th. If you don't bond out, that'll be your preliminary hearing date. But if you do bond out, just be in touch with the clerk's office. Will make sure that they send out notice for your next court date. Okay. You do have the right to hire an attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Court appointed.
Okay. Okay, I'll grant that request. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, all right, good luck to you. Uh-huh.
First thing last night.
All right, what's your name?
Dorian Kincaid.
Okay. Gosh, give me just a second. So go over here. All right, you are charged with 1 count of aggravated assault, which is a felony, 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce, which is a misdemeanor, 1 count of reckless conduct, which is a misdemeanor, and 1 count of drug-related objects to a minor misdemeanor. I'm dismissing the reckless conduct and the drug objects. I didn't see a basis for those. The only 2 charges that remain are the aggravated assault and the possession of marijuana, okay? I am gonna set a bond on the felony charge of $10,000 and on the misdemeanor charge of $1,000. So your total bond is $11,000, okay? Your next court date is gonna be on March the 26th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that particular court date. Now, you do have special conditions of your bond, not have any contact with Jarrell Watson. Don't have any contact with that person. And then also 8443 Magnolia Drive. Don't go back to that particular address. If you need to get some personal belongings from there, I am putting it in your bond order to make arrangements with the sheriff's office, and they'll go with you just to make sure there's no trouble for you. There's no trouble for anybody there. Things of that nature. Just don't show up with a piece of paper saying the judge said I could come in. Like, don't do that. You're going to get yourself in more trouble, okay? You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
I have a attorney appointment, but I just have to talk to my sister about it.
Okay, so you want to go forward with hiring your own attorney? Is that correct?
So, yes.
Okay, that's fine. Do you know who the attorney is going to be or not yet?
Not yet.
Okay,
My sister.
that's fine. That's not a problem. Well, by the time your next court date rolls around, if that's changed, just let the court know that you would want to speak to somebody with the public defender's office, okay?
Not a problem, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Do you have any questions about your case?
No, you said we put them with.
Okay, all right. Well, good luck to you.
No good.
All right.
That's not over there.
All right. What's your name, ma'am?
Leslie Anderson, Masonet.
All right, Miss Masonet, give me just a moment.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get you the facts. Yeah.
All right, ma'am, you are charged with 1 count of theft by taking, which is a felony, 1 count of influencing a witness, which is a felony, 1 count of terroristic threat, which is a felony, and then 1 count of harassing communications, which is a misdemeanor. I am going to set a bond on those charges. On the theft by taking charge is $2,000, influencing a witness charge is $2,000, terroristic threats is $3,000, and then harassing communications is $1,000. So your total bond is $8,000 total. Okay. Your next court date is going to be on March the 26th. But if you bond out, you will not need to appear for that particular court date. You do have special conditions of your bond to not have any contact with Itzelf Pena, and also to not return to 7582 Shadowwood Drive in Jonesboro. Okay. Now you do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Court appointment.
Okay.
Let's put out a people from 3. I just need.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna grant it, but I just need to ask you a couple of questions. Are you currently employed?
No.
Okay. Do you have any children?
Yes, I have one daughter.
Okay, got it. Have you ever served in the military before?
No.
All right, then I will grant that request for you. And actually, the court date is March the 25th, not the 26th. I need to make sure that that is right on everyone else's as well. All right. I have signed off on that. Do you have any questions about your case?
Yes, I didn't know how to warrant out for all those things, so I don't know how this happened, because I never did any of those things.
Okay, well, that's not going to be addressed in this particular hearing. You'll have an opportunity to address any defenses or dispute facts at a later hearing, but that's not what today is for, okay? So once you either have a preliminary hearing or you bond out and you get your arraignment court date and you connect with your lawyer, you can go over with them, what you did or didn't do and what defenses you may have, okay?
Yeah, and I also don't know how I'm gonna pay those $8,000, so I'm probably gonna be here.
Okay, well, I can't control that. That's something that's beyond my control. What I have to do is look at your case and treat you fairly, just like I try to treat everybody else fairly, okay? All right, any other questions? Okay, all right, good luck to you, man.
How you doing, Judge? We have some inmates from the problem unit. Can we go ahead and?
Are those all the riot guys? Because I've got their paperwork all over the place.
Yes, the riot people.
I mean, if they were even remotely close to each other, but I've got their paperwork so far apart, it's gonna delay everybody else if I try to do them all at once.
Okay, I just get the other people in.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll as quickly as I can, and then we've got Mr. Malo, who's a
so I'm gonna go.
We can do him first if you want.
Yeah. Fugitive? Okay. Okay, Your Honor, 1 second.
Yeah, let's go ahead and knock this out.
Come down this way, son.
All right, sir, what's your name?
Anthony Malo.
Okay, Mr. Malo, your first appearance is a little bit different from everyone else's because you're not charged with a crime in Georgia. It looks like you have some charges in a different state. So I'm going to read from you. I'm going to read a script for you. So I need you to pay special attention, okay? And let me make sure I have the state correctly. It looks like it's out of New Mexico. All right. All right. Mr. Malo, a fugitive warrant has been issued for your arrest. You do not have charges pending against you here in Clayton County. You have been brought to court today because you have charges pending against you in New Mexico, and that state is requesting that you return to the answer for the charges of violation of a court order. In accordance with the laws of the state of Georgia, you are brought before me for an explanation of this proceeding. You have the right to contest the legality of this warrant and all extradition proceedings, or you may waive your right to extradition proceedings and voluntarily be returned to the state requesting your detention.
Kohl's go before you.
Before you inform me of whether or not you wish to waive extradition, let me explain to you the following rights. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you. If you desire to contest the legality of this extradition proceedings, then you must file or have filed on your behalf a writ of habeas corpus. You will be allowed a reasonable amount of time to file such writ. Okay. Whether extradition, you may file a writ of habeas corpus to contest the extradition. The writ of habeas corpus can only contest the following things: whether extradition documents are in order on their face, whether you are charged with a crime in the demanding state, whether you are the person named in request for extradition, and whether you are in fact a fugitive. You cannot contest the issue of guilt or innocence in this state. If you are entitled, you are entitled to the advice of a lawyer in deciding whether you want to contest or waive extradition if you so desire. If you waive extradition, now listen carefully, if you choose to waive extradition, the state of New Mexico will have 30 days to come and get you. If New Mexico has not picked you up in 30 days, you will be released. So if you waive, they'd have 30 days. If you contest extradition and New Mexico is unable to extradite you within those 30 days, you may be committed to the county for an additional 60 days awaiting your extradition. So if you waive, they have 30 days. If you contest, they may have up to 90 days. Okay. Do you wish to waive extradition and be returned to New Mexico, or do you wish to have formal extradition proceedings?
I would like to talk with the lawyer, and I would like to go there as soon as possible.
Okay, well, that's kind of two different things, because talking to a lawyer means that I'm not going to say that you waived, right? But if you want to go there as quickly as possible, that means that you want to, well, quickly as possible could mean a couple different things. So I guess my question to you is, if you want to speak to a lawyer, we can do that for sure. It may slow down things. I'm not saying that it will slow down things. I'm saying that it might, because, you know, obviously we don't have a lawyer to speak with you right now. So you tell me how you want to proceed.
I was on my way to New Mexico, and I wasn't aware about this warrant.
No, I get that. I get that. And I don't have any control over that. I'm not saying that you're, you know, again, it's not guilty or innocent or anything like that. But I looked at it and it looks like you do have some documents that New Mexico wants you, and they said that they'll come and get you. So the only question for you is, do you want to say, I voluntarily want to go back, hey, come and get me? Or do you want to say, hey, I don't think this is legit. I'm going to try to contest this.
No, I'm not contesting anything. I want to go. I'm okay.
Okay. I got it. Okay. In that case, then there's some paperwork that you need to sign, and then the sheriff's office will send it to me, and then I will sign it. And then once that's done, I don't know if the clock starts today or tomorrow, but they'll have 30 days to come and get you. If they don't get you within 30 days, then you're free to go. Okay. That's my understanding of the law.
And in the meantime, while you are processing that, can I talk to a lawyer?
I'm going to put on your application that I'm appointing you a lawyer. I'm going to go ahead and do that for you. Now, again, I don't have any control over when the public defender's office comes and when they don't come, but they're going to get this paperwork and they're going to know that you're here. Okay. So I can't, you know, obviously guarantee you anything, but I am going to appoint a lawyer, and hopefully, I don't know what their process is when they see extradition paperwork, but hopefully they see this and they'll come to you very quickly.
Okay.
I just don't know.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, sir?
No,
okay, very good. Well, they'll get you that paperwork, and then once you sign it, they'll send it to me. I'll sign it, and then we'll get all that process for you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. All right. I've got Brenson. All right, what's your name, sir?
Kendall Brenson.
All right, Mr. Brenson, give me just a second. Let me see if you're on fax or not. Nope, you got the regular one. Okay. All right, sir, you were charged with battery family violence, which is a misdemeanor. I am going to set a bond on that case of $4,000. You're also charged with obstruction of a law enforcement officer. I'm dismissing that charge against you. Okay. You do have special conditions of your bond. Do not have any contact with Akia. I don't know if that's how you say her name, but you'll get a copy of. Okay, you'll get a copy of the bond, but don't have any contact with Miss Leslie. Okay. Also, do not return back to 3950 Jonesboro Road address. If you do need to get belongings, I'm putting it in here that you can go there with the sheriff's department. Just don't show up by yourself. Okay. Don't want any issues for you, Miss Leslie, or anyone else in Clayton County. Your next court date is going to be on March the 26th. But if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Court appointed lawyer.
Okay. I will grant that request for you, Mr. Brenson. Do you have any questions about your case?
No.
Okay. All right, sir. Good luck to you. Let me get Caraballo. All right. What's your name, sir?
Charlie Caraballo.
Caraballo. Okay. All right, sir, you are charged with 1 count of battery family violence. Oh, give me just a second. This is weird. Hold on just a second. All right, sir, you're charged with 1 count of battery family violence, which is a misdemeanor, and 1 misdemeanor count of party to a crime. On the battery family violence, I'm going to grant a bond of $3,000, and on the party to a crime, it's really a legal theory, but it's whatever. Still a charge. Grant a bond of $1,000. So your total bond is going to be $4,000. Now you do have a special condition of your bond to not have any contact with Jasmine Branch, and do not return back to the 602 Marquise Way address in Malo. If you need to get any personal belongings from there, that's fine. Just make sure that you make arrangements with the Clayton County Sheriff's Office. Your next court date is going to be on March the 26th. But if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Court appointed.
Okay, give me just a second. All right, I will grant that request. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, all right, good luck to you, sir. Coles. What's your name, sir?
Jameer Close.
All right, Mr. Coles. You are charged with 1 count of aggravated battery, 1 count of riot in a penal institution, 1 count of aggravated assault, and then 1 count of giving an inmate prohibited items. All felonies. I think there's like 5 or 6 of y'all all together. I don't know if they can hear me or not, but everyone's going to be treated exactly the same. I'm not going to grant a bond on those charges right now. Your next court date is going to be on March the 25th. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
A court-appointed attorney.
Okay, all right. I will grant that request for you, Mr. Coles. Do you have any questions? All right, good luck to you. Oh, go ahead.
When do you think I'll be able to get a bond?
So legally, you're entitled to a bond within 90 days of your case being 90 days from today, or maybe tomorrow. It depends on how it gets stamped in. But if you have not been indicted within or accused within 90 days, you're legally entitled to a bond. Now that bond may be $1 trillion. It's supposed to be a reasonable bond, but if the DA hasn't indicted you within 90 days, your lawyer will file a motion. Usually it's called a indictor release, which there's no such thing, but they'll file a bond motion for you. And during your preliminary hearing, the DA's office and your attorney may work out a bond during that date. But your court date for the bond hearing, if you haven't been indicted yet, I believe is on March the 29th. So you may have court the 25th and then the 29th or the 25th, and then they'll explain it to you from there. I can't predict the future, but I'm trying to give you as much info as possible.
From your experience, how much you think that bond would be? Like, you just guess.
I can't even speculate, man. I mean, I've done defense work and prosecutor work, but my role here is to be neutral. So I can't give any legal advice, and I don't want to tell you something and it be wrong, because then I lose my job, and that's no good for anybody.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. Good luck to you. All right, Collier.
Yes.
All right, can you state your name, please, sir?
Orlando Collier.
All right, Mr. Collier, you are charged with one count of battery family violence. That is a misdemeanor, sir. I am going to grant a bond of $3,000. Now, you do have special conditions of your bond, so pay attention. Number one, do not have any contact with Jeanette Jones. Do not return back to the 1222 Cameron Landing Parkway address in Stockbridge. Now, if you have any personal belongings that you need to get there, I'm going to put in your bond order that you can do that. Just make sure you make arrangements with the sheriff's department to go and get those items, okay? I don't want any issues for you. I don't want any issues from anyone there or the citizens of Clayton County. Now, your next court date is going to be on March the 26th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that particular court date. Just make sure that you have a good address on file with the bonding company and or the clerk's office of Clayton County. Now, you do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Just a court appointed.
Okay. Okay. All right, Mr. Collier, I will grant that request for you, sir. Do you have any questions?
That's all.
Okay. All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Collier.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Daniels.
That's first.
All right. What's your name, sir?
Cody Daniels.
All right, Mr. Daniels, you are charged with one count of aggravated assault, which is a felony, one count of aggravated battery, which is a felony, one count of terroristic threats, which is a felony, possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime, which is a felony, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, which is a felony. Give me just a second. Let me make sure this is the right case. Oh, okay. I just need to check real quick. All right, Mr. Daniels, at this time, I'm not granting a bond on the charges. Your next court date is going to be on March the 25th for preliminary hearing. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. How would you like to proceed with an attorney?
Hire on.
Okay. Do you know who it's going to be?
No, not yet.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Well, just make sure that you get that done before March 25th so they can prepare for your preliminary hearing, okay?
Okay.
All right, any other questions?
That's it.
All right, good luck to you, sir. All right, what's your name, sir?
Garcia.
All right. All right, Mr. Garcia, you are charged with one count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substances Act. Felony, bond is $3,000, and then possession of marijuana more than an ounce. The bond is $3,000, both felonies. I almost dismissed the possession with intent, but it was just given the amount. It's like that's a pretty tough sell on personal use. But anyway, you can address that with your lawyer later on down the road. So your total bond is $6,000. Your next court date is going to be on March the 25th. But if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do? Okay.
And I only gotta pay 10%.
Well, Usually it's 10 to 20%.
I mean, you're trying to kill me, all right? I'm not trying to push off, please stop.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, good luck to you, sir. All right. What's your name, sir?
Gary.
Hey, hold on.
What about Davis?
We skipped one. We got Davis. Have a seat.
Okay, yeah, let me get Davis.
Hold on one more time.
All right, what's your name, sir?
I know you know. Yeah, I know.
What's your
I
name?
like to talk to you.
Tremaine Davis.
Okay, just ignore whatever's going on to your left or right. Just ignore that and let's just get through your stuff, okay? All right, Mr. Davis, I think you've got 4 or 5 co-defendants with you. I don't know if you heard me speak to the other gentleman, but you're charged with 1 count of aggravated battery, 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of rioting in a penal institution, and 1 count of inmate in possession of prohibited items. All of those are felonies. I'm not setting a bond on those charges. And your next court date is going to be on March the 25th for preliminary hearing. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
A court-appointed attorney.
Okay, I will grant that request for you, Mr. Davis. Do you have any questions about your case?
No, sir.
Okay, all right, good luck to you, sir.
All right, next person. Do you got a sign? No, Davis. I told you no.
All right, what's your name, sir?
Gary.
All right, Mr. Gary, give me just a second. Oh, is this the one? Okay. All right, Mr. Gary, you're charged with 1 misdemeanor count of obstruction. Give me just a second. It's because I made a note to look at this when you stepped up. Mr. Gary, were they there to arrest you or someone else? Typically I don't ask questions about the facts of your case and just answer my question very specifically. Were they there to arrest you or someone else?
Me?
They were there to arrest you. Got it. So you have a charge pending in another county. Is that what it is?
Probation violation warrants.
Understood. Okay. All right. And is that all right? Well, I won't ask you anything else. So the reason why I asked that is because I struggled with your case because, you know, anyway, I struggle with it. I'm gonna, even though it's a VOP, even though you do have a VOP, and I don't think you're legally entitled to a bond, I'm still gonna set one anyway, because if you have a VOP, they're gonna have a hold on you. Do you know if it's in Clayton or somewhere else?
Fulton.
Fulton. Okay, got it. I'm gonna set bond at 1,000. I mean, that's literally the lowest I could go. And I'm sure you'll address this situation later on down the road. So, okay. Next court date is going to be on March the 26th. But if you bond out, well, you know, I don't know. They'll probably send you to Fulton, then send you back here, depending on what happens with Fulton. You know, there's a lot of things that could potentially happen. But the important thing for you to know is that if you're here in Clayton, you'll have a preliminary hearing on the 26th. But if not, then obviously you won't. You have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna hire my own attorney.
Okay. Do you know who you want to hire yet or not yet?
Not yet.
Okay, that's fine. All right, then I will mark that as a hired own attorney. Do you have any questions about your case, Mr. Gary?
Oh, sir.
Okay, all right, Mr. Gary, good luck to you.
All right here, Gary.
Jamal Johnson. All right, right, give me just a second, sir. All right. Mr. Johnson, you are charged with one count of aggravated assault, family violence, that is a felony, one count of cruelty to children in third degree, that is a misdemeanor. I am going to grant a bond on the felony charge of $7,000 and on the misdemeanor count of $3,000. So your total bond is $10,000. You do have special conditions of your bond: to not have any contact with Waltonisha Scarbrooks, and to not return back to the 2917 Poplar Point Drive address. Now, if you need to get some items from that residence, that's fine. I'll put in the order that you may go back, just make arrangements with the sheriff's department to go and get your stuff, okay? You just can't show up on your own. Your next court date is March the 25th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Court-appointed.
Okay. All right, Mr. Johnson, do you have any questions about your case? All right, good luck to you, sir. They'll have you sign in just a moment. All right. All right, what's your name, sir?
Claude Johnson.
All right, Mr. Claude Johnson. You were charged with 4 felonies: aggravated battery, aggravated assault, right in a penal institution, and inmate in possession of prohibited objects. I don't know if you heard what I told your co-defendants, but I'm not setting a bond on these charges at the moment. Your next court date is going to be on March the 25th. You have a bond hearing count. Well, you'll have a bond hearing date of March 29th. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Court-appointed.
Okay. All right. Do you have any questions?
Oh, we can't get no bond today.
Well, you're already locked up and then you go and get in more trouble. So that tells me that you can't be out free because you're getting in trouble while you're in trouble. So why would I give you a bond?
Yeah, but I ain't been convicted of no charge today though.
No, look, that's an argument for you to give to your lawyer. But when I'm looking at it, I'm just giving you my point of view, right? When I see somebody that's in custody and then they go and pick up more charges and there's enough evidence. I'm not saying you're guilty, but there's enough to continue the case going. I would not be doing the citizens of Clayton County a favor by granting bond. So you asked the question and I gave you the answer. Any other questions? All right, good luck to you. All right, what's your name, sir?
Jeremiah.
All right. You're a co-defendant to the gentleman that just walked away, to Mr. Johnson. Wait, are y'all brothers? Are y'all related by any chance?
Yeah, they're my nephew.
Oh, okay. Wait a second. The gentleman that just walked away is your nephew?
Nah, I'm just talking. This is joking. It's just a joke.
Well,
Oh, look, that old Judge.
well, that's what I was saying. Like, I mean, I've seen situations where, I went to school with an uncle and a niece. They were literally the exact same age. It's just somebody's parents had kids older. So I was like, all right, well, I'll take you at your word for it, Mr. Johnson. All right, sir. Well, I don't know if you heard what I told him, but I'm telling all of you guys the exact same thing. You're charged with 4 felonies, 1 count of aggravated battery, 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of riding in a penal institution, and 1 count of inmate in possession of prohibited items. I'm not setting a bond at this time. Your next court date is going to be on March the 25th. And then you'll have a bond hearing date on March the 29th if it's not resolved at your preliminary hearing. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
One attorney.
Okay. Give me just a second. All right, Mr. Jeremiah Johnson, I will approve that request, and you appear to be a pretty sharp guy, pretty witty guy, and I would assume that you don't like being incarcerated. So I would encourage you, and you're young, so I would encourage that if you enjoy your freedom, you know, again, people, I come across a lot of people. I was on the DA side of things. I was on the criminal defense side of things, and so you know, I see a lot of things of people your age, and you know, you start off like being very witty and being quick. That's a talent. You know what I mean? And you're wasting your talents getting involved in stuff like this. Now, I'm not saying you're guilty. I'm not saying that, but there's enough for the case to continue. And, you know, when I come across people and they make an impression like, oh, you came up quick. Oh, that's my nephew. And then you're like, no, I'm just kidding. Like that shows that you're thinking, you got a good brain on you. So I would encourage you to get yourself right and get out of there and make something of your life, because you can still do that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
What's up, my man?
All right. Let's see. What's your name, sir?
Devon Matthews.
All right, Mr. Matthews, you're a co-defendant to Mr. Johnson and Mr. Johnson. You're younger than them. Oh, wait. Yeah, they were born in 2001. You were born in 2003. You guys are too young for this, man. Y'all are way too young. Way too young for this. All right, Mr. Matthews, you're charged with 4 felonies, 1 count of aggravated battery, 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of riot in a penal institution, 1 count of inmate in possession of prohibited objects. I'm not going to set a bond at this time. Your next court date is going to be on March the 25th, and you'll have a bond hearing date on March 29th if it's not resolved at the preliminary hearing. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
I'd get a pro bono lawyer because I understand I've been here long enough to know that you saying you're gonna give me a court appointed is the same same that everybody else, public defender, which they're not gonna really run my case. Every time I come to court, I get continued. I need a pro bono lawyer. I don't need the same lawyer that everybody else get, please.
Well, here's the thing, Mr. Matthews. I don't control what lawyer you get, right? So the way that it works is you have the public defender's office who represent people who cannot afford a lawyer. If there is a conflict, meaning you have, I think, 4 or 5 co-defendants. So the public defender's office, they can't represent all of you. So they have to find lawyers to represent y'all. And so I don't know that process. I mean, I know it, but I don't know that process. So unfortunately, I can't control what lawyer that they give you. The only thing I can tell you is, you know, it's tough. I get it. You probably don't have a lot of resources in there and a lot of communication and stuff, but you just have to be diligent in A, not get yourself in trouble, and don't associate with people who are going to get you in trouble. And then B, you know, make the most of your time when you do have a lawyer. Sometimes lawyers, they give you information that you don't want to hear, but you know, again, the whole criminal process isn't very fast moving. It's a very slow process. And sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes that's a bad thing. I'm sure for you being in there, you're probably like, yo, I want this to move quickly. You want it to be a fast thing. But keep in mind, it's not always up to the lawyers to make that happen. You have judges, you have law enforcement, you have prosecutors. There's a lot of people involved that you can't control and that your lawyer can't control. It doesn't matter if you've got the ghost of Johnny Cochran defending you. There's only so much your lawyer can particularly do, okay? So I am going to grant you a court-appointed attorney. I don't know if that'll be someone from the conflict list or if it will be from the actual public defenders list. But just make the most of it when you have their attention, okay?
I got another thing. Who was the victim and what officer was on the report?
Officer Q Williams was the officer that swore out the warrants.
Williams?
Q Williams.
Q Williams.
Yes, and then the one listed in the warrant is a Mr. James Roddy. Now, normally in these situations, you may not even know who that is. I would have a stay away provision, but I would think that the jail would do a good job of not mixing you guys in with Mr. Roddy. And again, I'm not saying that you're guilty of doing anything, but be mindful. Just don't associate yourself with people who are going to get you in trouble. Don't get yourself in trouble. Let this process play out. And, you know, you're still a young man. You're really young. You got enough time to do something good with yourself. Okay?
Yes, I appreciate you, man.
All right. Any other questions?
No, sir. Thank you.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Matthews.
Matthew had a sign?
No.
Yeah. All right. What's your name, sir?
William Nelson.
All right, sir. Give me just a moment. Log me out. Give me just a second.
I'll go in there. All y'all go back to the same. Yeah, I knew it.
All right, Mr. Nelson, you are charged with one count of kidnapping, and that's a felony. I am dismissing that particular charge against you. You are charged with one count of aggravated assault, felony, one count of simple battery, misdemeanor, one count of criminal trespass, misdemeanor, one count of battery, misdemeanor, and one count of obstruction, misdemeanor. So you had two felonies and I dismissed one, so the only other felony you have is the aggravated assault. I am going to grant a bond on your charges that are remaining. On the aggravated assault, the bond is $7,000. The simple battery, the bond is $2,000. Criminal trespass, $1,000. Battery, $3,000, and obstruction, $1,000. So your total bond is $14,000. You do have special conditions of your bond to not have any contact with Shalia, Washington, and do not return back to the 6840 Maddox Road address in Morrow. If you do need to get some personal belongings from there, that's fine. Just make sure that you make arrangements with the sheriff's office, and that is notated in your bond order. Your next court date is going to be on March the 25th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that particular court date. You do have the right to hire an attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Court-appointed.
Okay. I will grant that request. Do you have any questions for me, Mr. Nelson?
You said my bond is 14,000.
14,000 total, yes, sir.
All right.
Well, don't get caught up on the 10% number. That's just an example. I said 10 to 20.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just want to give you a general idea. Yes, sir.
All right, appreciate you.
All right, yes, sir. Good luck to you.
Go sign it. Next person, everybody slide up.
All right, what's your name, sir?
First name Michael, last name Neil, sir.
All right, Mr. Neal, you are charged with one misdemeanor count of criminal trespass. The bond, I'm going to set a bond of $3,000, and then one misdemeanor count of obstruction. The bond is $1,000, so your total bond is $4,000. Do not have any contact with them as Stephanie Thompson. You may not even know who that is. Also, do not return back to the address of 4234 Jonesboro Road in Forest Park. I'm not sure if that's a residence or a business. Looks like it's an apartment T2 maybe. But either way, just don't go back to that address. Your next court date is going to be on March the 26th. But if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire an attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
I'll get an attorney.
I'm sorry?
Use one of the public defender.
Okay, I got you. All right, Mr. Neal, I will grant that request. Do you have any questions? All right, good luck to you, sir. All right, what's your name, sir?
My name is Lavelle Paige.
All right, Mr. Paige, give me just a moment. All right, sir, you are charged with one count of criminal trespass. Give me just a second. All right, Mr. Paige, you're charged with one count of criminal trespass. I am going to set a bond. It is a misdemeanor. I'm going to set a bond of $500. You do have a special condition of your bond to not return back to 8104 Webb Road. Now, I understand that your life circumstances may be difficult and you may have some troubles and things like that, but just don't go back to that address. You can go anywhere in the world that you want except there, because that's going to end you right back where you are right now, okay? Your next court date is going to be on March the 26th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire an attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Be set for a court-appointed attorney.
Okay. second. All right, sir, I will grant that request. Do you have any questions about your case?
No, sir.
All right, good luck to you.
First.
All right, what's your name, sir? All right, sir. You are charged with let me see here. All right, sir. You were originally charged with one count of obstruction and then one count of unlawful possession of a firearm. I'm dismissing both of those cases against you. Again, these charges could come back if there's more information, but I just didn't feel like there was enough there. Currently, I'm not going to tell anybody to bring the charges back. That's not my job. I just look at what I got in front of me. So I'm dismissing both charges against you. If you do not have any charges holding you here or anywhere else, just give us some time. The paperwork be processed and you'll be good to go. Do you have any questions? All right, sir. Good luck to you. And I would say just be careful who you're hanging around. All right, what's your name, sir?
Isaac Ryles III.
All right, Mr. Ryles. Give me just a moment. Oh. Mr. Ryles, you are charged with one misdemeanor count of obstruction. I'm dismissing that charge against you. Again, my job is just look at what's in front of me, and I don't believe that I had enough evidence to move this case along. Now, maybe these charges come back if there's additional information and they present it to me or another judge or whatever, okay? I'm not saying that they will. That's not my job, but I just have to put that caution out there for you, okay? So as long as you do not have anything that's holding you either in Clayton County or another county, once all this paperwork gets processed, you'll be good to go. I can't give you an approximation of how long it's going to be, but it'll probably be a minute. Okay. And I would just say, like, sometimes these things happen. So just be very, very cautious of how you interact with people, how you interact with officers and things of that nature. I'm sure in your mind, you're like, I didn't do anything wrong. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, I just don't have enough. Yeah. But just understand that these things do happen. And, again, if there had been different circumstances, maybe there would have been enough. And it would be a shame for you to be here for something like this, So just be very cautious of how you interact with people and what you get yourself involved in and things of that nature, okay?
Sir, I appreciate
All right, any questions?
It's dismissed, right?
It will be once I have to type up the order, sign it, and then send it over. But it will be I would say within the next, I don't know, 2 to 3 hours.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. Good luck to you. Don't come back.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
All right. All right. What's your name, sir?
I'm Jermaine Sam.
Okay. All right, Mr. Sims. You are on. All right, sir. Originally, you were charged by receiving stolen property, which is a felony. I'm dismissing that particular charge against you. You're charged with simple battery on a law enforcement officer, felony. I am gonna that charge will remain open container, terroristic threats, and theft by taking, and interference with government property and disorderly conduct. So all of those are felonies except the disorderly conduct. That's a misdemeanor. I am going to set a bond on your case. The theft by taking charge, bond of 5,000, terroristic threats, 2,000, open container, 500, simple battery, 2,500, interference with government property, 1,000, and then theft by receiving is dismissed. So and then disorderly conduct, 1,000. So your total bond is $12,000. Okay. You also do not have any contact with Shavanya Phillips, so do not have any contact with that person. Your next court date is going to be on March the 25th. But if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that particular court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Court-appointed attorney. I got a question too.
I'm sorry?
I said I have a question too. Court-appointed.
Okay, hold on. Let me, you'll get an opportunity.
Yeah, I know. I just talked about my lawyer, you know, my dad. I mean, he knows I'm in the next week. I mean, I'm sure he knows. I told him that
All right, Mr. Sims, what's your question, sir?
What is I'm charged with again?
Okay. The charges that are remaining are 1 count of simple battery on a law enforcement officer, 1 count of an open container, 1 count of terroristic threats, 1 count of theft by taking, 1 count of interference with government property, and 1 count of disorderly conduct. Those are all the charges that are remaining. I dismissed 1 of the charges against you.
And what charge is that?
Theft by receiving stolen property, because it looks like they charge you with taking a vehicle and receiving a stolen vehicle. Well, you can't do both. Either you stole it or you received it. So you can't be guilty of receiving property if you took it, and you can't be guilty of taking, or the charges don't make sense, basically. Either you took it or you received it. So I just dismissed the receiving one. Does that make sense?
Okay, so what charge is theft by taking is?
The vehicle.
That's the one that's still gonna be remained there, or what?
Correct.
You dismissing? I'm trying to understand, because you just read out them charges to me, so I'm just trying to understand.
Okay, so it looks like you were charged with taking a vehicle that didn't belong to you.
Okay.
And then they also charge you with receiving that same vehicle that did not belong to you. Well, those 2 charges together don't make sense, because if you took it, then you can't receive it. And if you received it, then that means you didn't take it. So I dismiss 1 of those. Now, the DA's office can indict it any way they want to, but I'm just letting you know that those 2 charges together do not make sense. So I got rid of 1 of them for you. Okay? Now, those charges can change. That's up to the DA's office how they want to handle it. All right? All right. Good luck to you.
And you got signed. They signed it on tablet. Okay, slide up.
All right. What's your name, sir?
Robert Lewis Stevens Jr.
All right, Mr. Stevens.
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Oh, it looks like you just have a license charge. Give me just a second. I think I did you a favor, sir. I did. You had a preset bond on the license charge of $1,500. I lowered that down to $500. And then tail light violation. Originally, your bond was $500. I lowered it to $400. So your total bond is $600 instead of $2,000. So you saved yourself $1,400. Are you going to be able to make that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. If not, your next court date is going to be on March the 26th, but you'll make that bond, so you won't have to go to that particular court date. You do have the right to hire an attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney, even though it's a small license driving offense. If you keep getting that charge, it'll eventually turn into a felony. So you want to make sure that you get a lawyer. Do you want to hire one or be considered for a court-appointed lawyer?
Court-appointed lawyer, sir.
Okay. All right, Mr. Stevens Jr., I will grant that request for you. Do you have any questions?
I would like to, could I sign anyway I can sign, because I don't have much really.
Well, you're going to sign the paperwork, but remember what I said earlier. I already gave you a $1,400 discount, so I feel like that's pretty generous given the circumstances. But just make sure you get your license situation straightened out, man, because you don't want to keep coming back to jail for a driving offense. That's a waste.
You're right.
All right?
Thank you. Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you, sir. Don't come back.
Yes, sir.
All right, what's your name, sir?
Sanders.
Yes.
How do you pronounce your first name?
Secretariat Sanders.
There you go. All right. I just wanted to make sure I got the right person, Mr. Sanders. Give me just a moment. Oh, the other guy's gotta find the stuff. Hold on. All right, Mr. Sanders, you are charged with one count of aggravated assault, which is a felony. I'm going to set a bond at $15,000. You also have a special condition to not have any contact with Tatonia Sanders. Also, do not return back to the 544 Crimson Ridge Court address in Jonesboro. Now, that may be your address where you have personal belongings. So I'm putting in your bond order that you may go and get those items, but you need to go with the sheriff's department. Okay, you just can't show up and get your stuff. You got to take the sheriff's office with you, and that's to protect you and to protect the people there and to protect the people of Clayton County, so no issues occur between you and anyone at that residence. Your next court date is going to be on March the 25th. But if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that particular court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
So is it confusing?
I'm sorry?
So I really don't know. So I'm gonna try to find a. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to find one.
Okay, so you want to hire your own attorney, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. All right. Well, I will mark that down as our own attorney. All right, do you have any questions?
No.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
So if I was to bond out, then how much would it be?
Well, it's typically somewhere between 10 and 20%. So I'm just estimating 1,200 to 2,400. That's just an estimation. Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, good luck, sir. All right, should have Taylor. All right, what's your name, sir?
Here, Taylor.
All right, sir. All right, Mr. Taylor, you looks like you had a slew of driving offenses. Driving without headlights is a misdemeanor. It looks like you had 3 counts of children not wearing a safety belt, all misdemeanors. Misdemeanor obstruction. There's a theft by receiving stolen property charge. I'm dismissing that. There's a possession of a firearm by a convicted felon charge. I'm dismissing that. And then operating a vehicle without insurance, misdemeanor. So the 2 felonies against you, I'm dismissing those. Now, again, those particular charges will very likely come back. I'm not saying that they will, but once a solicitor gets that file and they look at it, they're going to be like, why did this judge dismiss this? Well, I have my reasons why I dismissed it, but they don't look at it from my point of view. So they may kick this up to the DA's office, just kind of letting you know, okay? But they may not. So, consult with an attorney as quickly as you can, and y'all can form the best strategy to handle your case moving forward. Your total bond, let me tell you, for the headlight charge is 500. For each of the children without a safety belt is 500. Obstruction is 2,000. And the operating vehicle without a license is going to be
Without insurance.
1,000. So your total bond is going to be $5,000. Okay. Your next court date is going to, since the felonies are gone, your next court date is going to be March the 26th. But if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna have my own attorney.
Okay. Give me just a second. And I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. You want to hire your own attorney, is that correct? That's fine. Do you know who that's going to be or not yet?
Not yet.
Okay, that's fine. Well, I would work on that very quickly for you and have them get to work on your case, okay?
So say,
All right, any other questions?
No, sir.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Hey, hold tight. Somebody before you sign that tab.
All right.
1 second, Judge.
No problem.
You getting Mr. Boo, he's been a problem.
I understand. All right. What's your name, sir?
Hey, my name is Tommy Vu.
All right, Mr. Vu, give me just 3 minutes of your time or less, and we'll get you on your way, okay?
All right, are you what's your name, sir? Your judge name?
Judge Daniel Nagel, that's my name. All right.
Gotcha.
All right. Mr. Vu, you are charged with one misdemeanor attempt, one count of criminal attempt, one count of obstruction, and one count
Of what? Can you please clearly go over what charges specifically? Because one count of criminal intent is nothing, but like specific charge, like it was because when I was originally arrested for was I was just trying to call for help and I was just being erratic.
Hey, Mr. Vu, do me a favor. Shh, stop talking.
Yes.
Do me a favor. All right. I'm the one that's leading this proceeding, okay?
Yes.
If you have a question, let me go through everything and then I will give you an opportunity to ask your question. All right. Now I'm going to answer the question you initially asked, but do us all a favor because you see those deputies all around you?
Yes, sir.
They're not going to allow you to speak over me. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Very good. You talk to me good. I talk to you good. So you are charged with you are charged with one count of criminal attempt. It looks like of entering auto. That's the criminal attempt. Okay. So hold on. Shh. Hey.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I understand. Listen, you may not be used to this, which is a good thing. If you're not used to this, you probably have a lot of questions. There's probably a ton of things going through your brain. You may have a lot of defenses, but this is being recorded. So anything that you say could be used against you later on. So I tell people to save it between themselves, their lawyer, and if they believe in a higher being, you keep it between those three. Okay. Don't say anything that's going to mess your case up in the future. All right. Now, you are charged with one count of criminal attempt, one misdemeanor count of obstruction, and one misdemeanor count of loitering or prowling. You may have defenses to those charges. Cool. Save it for your lawyer. Save it for later on down the road. The good news for you, Mr. Vu, is I am going to grant a bond on all of your charges. On the criminal attempt, the bond is going to be $1,000. The obstruction is $1,000, and the loitering is $1,000. So your total bond, sir, is $3,000.
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to do a stay away provision from anywhere because I don't know if this is a business or a residence. I assume it's a business, but don't answer that. The only special condition of your bond is just don't get yourself in any more trouble.
Yes,
now,
sir, of course.
You do have the right to hire an attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. How would you like to proceed with an
attorney?
All right. Do you know who you are going to hire or not yet?
My dad knows a lawyer. I was
okay. That's fine. That's it. I don't need nothing else.
Yes.
All right. Now, your next court date, Mr. Vu, is going to be on March the 26th. However, if you bond out of jail, you do not have to appear for that court date. Okay. So just make sure that your address is correct with the sheriff's department and with the clerk's office. All right. Now, you have an opportunity to ask me questions, but don't ask me about the facts of your case. Do you have any questions?
Of course, you're a judge. I mean, why would I ask about my facts of my own case? I mean, that's just disrespectful to you and the work that you do. So I'm just gonna ask, what did I use to break into the car? Did I even break into the car or not? I mean, that's what I was asking.
I got you. Well, Mr. Vu, that goes to the facts of your case, and I can't discuss that with you. I can only tell you that you're charged with criminal attempt, and then you will get the answer to that question at a later proceeding with a different judge. All right?
Yeah, of course. So I mean, that's just
I got you. All right. Well, look, any other questions that's not related to why you're charged or how you're charged? Any other questions?
Well, do you mind if I ask why I haven't be able to make a phone call to my dad to call a lawyer? How am I supposed to call a lawyer if I can't call my dad? Like,
I got
do you mind if you can call my dad? Because that's not the facts of the case.
Okay,
So,
well, listen to me.
you
Listen,
write
listen,
down.
listen.
You don't mind if you can write
Listen.
down my dad's phone number? I mean, you have a pen right there.
Be quiet. Listen. I don't control the sheriff's office.
Okay,
I can only do this. So I'm gonna tell you this, your bond is 3,000. Good luck to you, Mr. Vu.
Come on, let's go.
All right. We're gonna have two more, Watson and Walker, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, hold on. Wait, it might be three more. Watson, Walker, and Williams. Okay. Give me. All right, what's your name, sir?
Terrell Watson.
All right, give me just a second, sir. I got logged out of the thing I was in dealing with Mr. Vu. All right, can you give me your name one more time? I'm sorry.
Terrell Watson.
Okay, Mr. Watson. All right. Mr. Watson. Oh, Mr. Watson, give me just a second. Mr. Watson, I'm dismissing the charge against you, sir. Now, that doesn't mean that it couldn't come back later on down the road. I'm not saying that it will. I'm not saying that it won't. So as long as you don't get yourself in any more trouble and you don't have anything holding you here or holding you elsewhere, you'll be free to go. Just give me some time. I got a lot of paperwork to do to get that back over to the sheriff's office. So just, just relax, chill out. Don't cause any trouble. Don't get involved in anything and you'll be good to go. Do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, I will tell you, Mr. Watson, just be very careful of how you interact with law enforcement officers. This could have turned out way differently, but I just didn't have enough that I feel comfortable moving forward. Just be careful how you interact with people, what you do and what you say, things like that. All right.
Understood. God bless you.
All right. Good luck, Mr. Watson. Don't come back.
All
right. All right, what's your name, sir?
Oh, you're welcome.
Mr. Walker. I don't know if you heard what I told your co-defendants. But anyway, you were charged with 4 felonies, 1 count of aggravated battery, 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of rioting in a penal institution, and 1 count of giving or inmate in possession of prohibited objects. Not setting a bond on any of those charges at this time. Your next court date is going to be on March the 25th. You do have the right to hire a lawyer or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do? Okay. All right. Mr. Walker, do you have any questions? Oh, do you have any questions? I got a delay.
No, sir.
Oh, okay. All right, Mr. Walker. All right. Well, good luck to you, sir. All right. You should be Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Williams, you look super young. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. How old are you?
17.
Were you in the youth place or were you in 91 or were you at the sheriff's office when this happened? The jail on Terra Boulevard?
What you mean?
Oh, okay. Let me rephrase my question. This incident, what these charges are about is from when you were already in the sheriff's in the jail on February the 22nd. So you were already locked up, correct?
Yes, sir.
I got you. Oh man, Mr. Williams, you're way too young for this. I think you're the youngest one out of everybody who got charged.
No, I need this bond. I'm trying to go back to juvenile. Handle my other case. I got a kid out there. My kid got cancer. I gotta hurry up and get out. I got responsibility.
You sure do.
They ain't seen me on the camera. They seen me on the camera.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You're saying way too much. Way too much. Way too much. I'm not your lawyer, but you will get a lawyer and you will tell them that. But don't tell it to me because guess what? This is being recorded. So you give away your strategy. Now the DA's office is going to know, all right, well, he thinks this and we got that. Now we're going to go look into it. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right. And as young as you are and as many responsibilities as you have, you know, I have a responsibility too. And sometimes my responsibility doesn't really mesh or line up with someone in your position. And I don't like it. I don't like that, but I've got to do what I've got to do, right? So you're charged with 4 counts, all felonies, 1 count of aggravated battery, 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of writing in a penal institution, 1 count of inmate in possession of prohibited items. I'm not setting a bond on those charges right now. Your next court date is going to be on March the 25th for your preliminary hearing. Now, you do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
I need a public defender.
Okay. All right, Mr. Williams, I will grant that request. And I told some of your co-defendants, oh, well, he's gone. All right, good luck to you. All right, that's all the people that I have. Am I missing anyone?
All right, Judge.
Okay, all right. Y'all have a good weekend. I'll send that. Oh, if y'all will get that paperwork over to me for Mr. Malo for the extradition, I'll get that back and then I'll work on the other stuff on my end.
It should have already been sent.
Oh, okay. Give me just a second.
Okay, it should have already sent, make sure.
Okay, yeah, give me just a moment. I closed out my email. I didn't want to get messages while we were doing that. Oh, perfect. I got it from Deputy Myrie. So that is received. Well, I will print that out.